What is going on? What is going on? What is going on, party people? It is your boy, Coach D Brown, former big leaguer, former first round pick with the Kansas City Royals. And man, it's very few times that I'm talking and dealing with people on Facebook and on other platforms, and certain topics keeps coming up. And one of the topics that keeps coming up, one of my guys in the group that we all a part of was asking about perfect game and the rankings and and everything that it entails. So I felt like what's the best way I know to explain this? And my boy here that's joining me right now, who I've known for 25 years, who just raised is raising a great young man who just got drafted fifth round by the Philadelphia Phillies. And we had him on the show the day after he got drafted. Turn it down, turn the house down like third. I think that might have been his third time on the show. This is definitely at least the third or fourth time on here. And what I felt like, we got into this subject towards the end of the interview, which it started off as a celebration and talked about the draft process, but it ended with my boy Vic spitting straight knowledge that I wish every parent could listen to and hear. And so when I was talking about this the other day, I said, say no more. I'm going to go and put my man back on here, who's been through it with his own son, been coaching many years, sending a lot of kids to school and going through the recruiting process, being here in Atlanta, going through the perfect game rankings, understanding how this thing goes, ups, downs, everything, especially within his own household. So I felt like, let me go ahead and put my man on here the best way I know to do it. And so I'm joined by my boy Vic Radcliff, who's, again, his son just got drafted, and Vic is an ex-professional baseball player himself. So Vic, for the people that we're going to, that are joining us right now, that are going to be listening in, who, not necessarily, we're going to a couple of different groups that I normally don't, be in like that, and they may know a little bit about you or may not. So Vic, if you could, go ahead and tell your resume, talk about, the coaching career, and obviously, about your son, Baron.
So, listen, first of all, let me just say I appreciate you having me on. Um, I you were just speaking about the last time we had this conversation. We came on to talk about Barron and being drafted and everything. We started getting into this thing about showcases and perfect game and all this other stuff. So let me just first say thank you, D, for having me on. And but most of all, uh, creating a platform for people to get informed about these types of things. So I'm glad that you had me here. So my name is Vic Radcliff. Um, I was drafted in the fourth round by the Kansas City Royals out of high school as a shortstop. I spent 2 years in rookie ball. I played 5 total seasons in the Royals minor league system, and I played 2 years of independent league baseball. In my second year of independent league baseball, my wife and I had a son come along, and it wasn't a hard thing for me to decide that, you know what, I don't see this thing going the way that I thought it should be going. I had a couple of injuries I was dealing with. It's time for me to just go home, be a husband, be a dad, right? So immediately I became a baseball coach right then when I got home, because he was, shoot, a year and a half already. When he started walking, D, no lie. By the time he started walking, I know a lot of people say people have been swinging a bat since they started walking. This man, and listen, we all want to do it. All baseball players or athletes or whatever sport we come from, we want our son to do what we did as soon as he can start walking, right? So I really fast forwarded my son's life up until now, because I was like, man, I can't wait till he get 3 so we can play soccer. I can't wait till he get 5. I can't wait till he get 10. I can't wait till he's in high school. I can't wait till he's a senior. I can't wait to see what he's like when he's in college. And I'm telling you, just like I just said that, it feels like that's how fast it goes. I promise you.
Mm,
Um, older people talk about, man, them kids grow up so fast. They do. And before you know it, it's like, man, this dude is 21 years old, right?
mm, mm,
So, yes, I coached college baseball for 8 years. I coached high school baseball for 6. During that time, I was also coaching my son where I could, right? Once we moved to Atlanta, I was a full time travel baseball coach. So that's where I'm at. That's how I get to where I am right now. So I really know by the just through going through the fire, the recruiting process, the travel ball circuit, the pro ball circuit. I mean, there's so many different things that are different now, D, that are different than how when you and I came through. I know that you said that when you came through, it was like the area code games, and that's what you played. But I mean, everybody got a doggone all star game now, and
right.
I'm telling you right now, parents, guess what? It's not just all the best players in America that are playing in the All Star games.
Mm,
Okay, so I hope that during this conversation, you and I
mm,
can get D to a place where we're talking about. Now, don't get me wrong; those kids are good. Those
mm,
kids have the highest rankings and everything. But I want to tell you how you get the higher rankings
mm,
outside of
mm,
being pretty good at the game.
mm-hmm. Hey, I mean, listen, this is I don't even think we need to, get into long out questions and all of that type of stuff because this is what was asked of me. All right, they were asked straight up. They like, what is the process on? And I wish I could. I'm trying to get into that group so I could get that questions. So those people that wanted to watch it, but hopefully I can get them over there. But I'm paraphrasing his question was basically they were watching some kids that supposedly were highly ranked in the perfect game system, right?
Yep.
And they weren't impressed. All right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And to the point where the dude basically was like, you know, where are these getting these rankings from, and how much, are these college coaches, banking on these rankings that are, you know, essentially being given to these kids. And, baseball dads, and, we all going to be a little bit of bias towards our kid, but we also know that if a dude can play, the dude can play. You know what I mean? So when it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, he wasn't impressed with some of the dudes talent wise, um, he's like, yo, what are they doing with these grading systems? Why is this kid ranked so high? And sometimes a lot of other kids that are more talented as kid are not ranked so high. How does that go? How does that process? Are these coaches, college coaches, really banking on these rankings on perfect game?
Yes, recruiting. And listen, I'm not taking anything away from college baseball coaches, first and foremost. But I think that recruiting has gotten a little lazy these days. And what I mean by that is some kids only show well in game, right? Some kids show who they are in a game. They show their grit. They show how much they go after it. They show how they compete. They show their heart in a game. And then you got the kids who are and everybody else is the kid that throws 90 something, that hits the
Mm,
ball over the light pole, that runs faster than everybody else. And those kids are, I mean, it's not a lot of them, right? So,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
um, so you really need to see kids play. That's why I believe it's most important then that you get your kid on a college campus around college coaches so that they can see you up front and coach you and see your heart and your grit. Man, I got a catcher that was on my 17U team. He should be he should have several offers from D1 schools, but because of the position he plays and this pandemic that we were going through, nobody has really been able to get out to see him play. You really got to see a catcher, how they lead, how they
mm,
handle the pitcher. You know what I'm saying? How they're
mm,
assertive. There's certain things you got to see. So I don't want people to get discouraged because your son is not the highest in the state and things like that. Let me just tell you this about the perfect game ranking also. The more you pay to go to their camps and stuff like that, the higher your ranking is going to be. I'm going to tell you right now.
time out. Okay. Um, did, you know? If I was a DJ, I'd be like, pew, pew, you know what I'm saying? If I was a DJ, I'd be doing, boom, boom, doing boom
I
sounds
know,
all
I know.
over the place.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
Cole,
yeah.
rewind that again and say that again, please.
The more money you pay towards perfect games, showcases, and events, the higher your ranking is going to be. Has nothing to do with your has nothing that has nothing to do with your ability on the field or how what you did. Here's my example. So my son, okay, one of those kids who is 6'4", can hit the ball over the lights. His ranking was, I don't know, at the beginning of the summer when he was a 17U guy, his ranking was like in the 200s or something like that, right? Because he had never been to a perfect game event, like showcase or anything like that. And I was like, I am not paying $500 for him to go to nobody's event, right? Okay. Because I had a mom who asked me, and forgive me, guys, I'm all over the place, but I'm telling you, I'm tying it all up. I had a
Please
mom
do.
at the beginning of the year who was talking about, yeah, we got all this lined up. I'm taking my son here and there. Hey, are you going to that thing down in Fort Myers for perfect game? I was like, how much it costs? It's like $700. The PG National thing. I was like, nah, I'm just banking on him doing well this summer. Let's see what happens then. Because he really needed to have a good summer. In order for him to get put on the map, he needed to have a good summer. Well, sure enough, my man went to some PG events and he hit the ball over the lights into the parking lot. I get a call saying, hey, Baron Radcliff's been invited down to the PG National event down in Florida. Can you get him down there? Oh, okay, so I didn't have to pay my money. But most of the people that were there did, but because he didn't have to pay, that means there was a lot of kids there who showed that they were good enough to be there, so they were there. But you could pay your money and go. So
So, okay, time out. You talking and I'm hearing it, and I'm understanding, but I want you to say it again because you're saying Baron, all right. I just saying because he was good, you wasn't gonna pay that money. All right. So he went to a more of a local tournament and hit the ball to the lights, and then now he automatically invited down there to the thing where you ain't got to pay no money to come.
exactly. So if your son is legit, let's just put it like this: if your son is legit and they're playing in perfect game tournaments and they're making all tournament teams consistently while he's there, then his ranking can go up some, right? But go ahead and go down to a showcase then. If you want his ranking to go up like significantly, go ahead and do it. But let me just tell you about this ranking. I had a scout sitting in my house when Barron's a senior in high school. He told me a story about a mom who was like, well, she was like, he was like saying, yeah, we got your son in like the 20th to 25th round or whatever. But the mom was like, but his perfect game ranking is number 20 or whatever it was. It was like top 50, right? And he was being candid with me. He didn't say this to her, but he was like, "Can I say it? I'm not gonna say it." He's like, "Ma'am, I don't care about your son's PG ranking. That
He ain't
doesn't
say
matter
that.
when it comes to
He ain't
scouting."
say that, but he said I ain't give up. I already know. I
You know
already
what he
know.
said?
I already know.
I don't give a
Right.
right. We don't give a about a perfect game ranking. It doesn't matter because how skewed it is, right? But so okay, let's circle back to when you said I said college coaches are a little lazy when it comes to recruiting, and I'm not saying that they don't get out, but here's what gets them out. You can go. So if you pay, like if you have a scouting level membership for the Perfect Game website, so they get you like that too. The more money you pay towards having a membership on their website, the more information you can get as a scout, right? So a scouting membership is like $500 a year, something like that. So everybody doesn't have that unless they can afford to do that, right? So here's what happens.
So time out,
As
time
a,
out, time out, time out, time out. Because I've been on it. I don't even be on it like that membership wise. So if you pay, you got to pay $500 a month for the membership.
yeah,
Just the information on the site. That's not the extra money that you got to pay to go to these showcases and
no,
go and pay for your rankings and all of that type of stuff, right?
nah. This is different. This is like if like I said, if you're a scout, you can pay your money, and then if you get on there, here's what happens. Let's just say there's everybody knows about the WWBA, right? Because
Not
there's
everybody. So can you
okay.
explain what it is?
World Wood Bat Association, right? They have that's like the biggest PG tournament a year, where let's just say 17U, 16U, 15U, there'd be at least 100 or 300. I'm sorry, 300 teams that register for this thing, at about $2,500 a team now. Okay, so do the math. So anyway, let me get off that. Um, I can pay. Well, I got a membership, right? So I go into this website, I log in, I got a scouting level membership. I can go to each tournament and I can see the top, whatever, like who are the top rated kids that are going to be in this tournament, right? So when I recognize who's in the tournament, then I write down, okay, I want to go see the number one, number two, number three. Oh, I want to see this picture that his top fastball is 94 at 15 years old. I'm going to make sure I go see him play. So it is good for exposure now. But like I said, if you got that number, you got to be there's no reason to go to a showcase unless you can put up those kinds of numbers, a 94 or a 6.3 or his exit velo was 105. There's no need to go to a dang, people gonna ban me for saying this kind of stuff, D.
Hey, come on now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? This is real talk, man. This is why I got you on here, man. This is, you know what I'm saying? You know, I hope they share it. It is what it is. It's the truth, man.
It is. And I said that, listen, I'm willing to be everybody's baseball consultant when it comes to this kind of stuff, because I've been down the road with my son. I don't want you wasting money. Sometimes spending that money is necessary. But I don't want you to spend unnecessary money. I don't want people to have the wrong idea, thinking that why is my son not getting seen? And okay, so I want people to have the right perspective when it comes to this thing. If you want, you have to pay attention to your son's development first and foremost. It does not matter if they're on the number one team in the country and he's not getting developed as a baseball player. It does not matter. Some people is crazy doing this travel baseball season. They're like, yeah, but I always wanted to play on this team. Are you going to even get on the field with this team? And are they going to teach you how to properly throw a ground ball? Are you going to know how to hit a cutoff man? Are you going to know what it means between cut and relay? Ask a kid that question. You tell me if they got that. Now you're being coached if you know the difference between a cut and a relay. I'm going too deep, but no, I'm real passionate about this kind of thing, man. Because listen, I just started my own baseball program, and yes, we're just fledglings getting right up off the ground. But I know freaking baseball, right? And your son is going to learn how to play, and it doesn't have to be with me. I just need people to make sure you find a program that's teaching your son the game and how to play. Because most important, I don't care what high school that you're trying to get into. I don't care if you made whatever's top team. Are you going to learn the game while you're there? And if the answer is yes, then boom, that's where you should be. But if it's no, then you're wasting your money and your time. You wasted another year. You signed up to waste another year, and then now your back is against the wall when you're 17, and now you're trying to go to everybody's showcase, and now you're spending a bunch of money, and now you're in a hotel room every weekend, and now you got to take all this time off of work. You better know what you're doing, man, or you're gonna waste a whole lot of money by the time you're 17 years old.
I was just talking to the Rutgers coach earlier today, and he was saying when he out here scouting a player, he said he looking for a player that is playing. He said, I don't want a showcase player. And he was like, the dude that essentially what you just said, the 17-year-old kid that's in hotels every weekend, chasing different teams, chasing different showcases. He said he understands the process and everything for that. But bottom line is, you know what I'm saying? He's like, it tells me from a character standpoint, you know what I'm saying, that he's just out there playing showcase baseball. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It ain't showing me how he really knows the game. You know what I'm saying? Right. I made him go back and repeat that. So the parents who ain't seen that, who's on right now, I have Rutgers head coach Steve Owens on it early, and he talked about how he doesn't like the showcase player. You know, the guy that goes out there and just, you know, is showcasing, throwing as hard as he can, you know, trying to hit the ball, whatever, you know what I'm saying, but ain't really the team guy and jumping from team to team. He's like, from a coach's standpoint, they see it. You know, I try to get my man to kind of jump on here, one of my head coaches, a Southern head coach, to jump on. And but he was busy and I called him last minute. But I wanted to kind of get a coach's standpoint. I could have brought multiple coaches on, but I just like not, what I'm saying, I had one that I really wanted to come on. But anyway, we rocked the house ourselves, man. But again, what he's saying is, bottom line, go to a program, and that's and the parents. I want you to understand this. All right. The problem is sometimes we all us as parents, and Barron is did it. He went to a big time school and just got drafted. Okay, but I'm talking from parents that are entering high school or have kids in high school. We want our kid to go to the highest and best program out there in the country. All right, and we want to be, we don't like losing, so we go to these programs that so-called has the name. Okay, but like Nick is saying, if you out there and you have playing on these so-called big time teams and they telling he gonna get you into college and he gonna do this and do that, you know what I'm saying? But it's only a handful of dudes on that team that he really is looking out for. And what happens is you get to chasing logos and getting mad and put on the money and wondering where's the exposure, where's everything going here and there. Parents, you have to be more active and understand that don't be chasing the logo. And you're going to chase the logo in college, and you chasing logos for organizations. You know what I'm saying? Thinking that they're the key. And I keep telling you parents this all the time, and I tell you this all the time from a perfect game standpoint. You are the asset. The perfect game website, the 500 memberships, the all of that wouldn't even matter if it wasn't for you and your son. Your son is the asset. You know what I'm saying? Until you understand that you don't necessarily need. I mean, I get, like I said, Big said it too. From exposure, there is a method to this and everything. But if you come with that, oh, I'm just crawling. I need the perfect game to give me the exposure and all of that. You're coming at it wrong. You need to come with the confidence of, listen, you know what I'm saying? If my son is a Division III best, he's going to be the best Division III player out there. I ain't going to be falsely, told that he's a Division I kid. All right. You have to be, told the real, and you have to accept it. It may hurt, but if your kid is a Division II player, let him ride out in Division II.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Listen, man. Listen to me, parents. So my son probably was like, after the summer he had, right? 17U, his ranking did go up because he was killing it.
Right.
He was killing it. So there was no denying it, right? So what happened was, we got ourselves to a place. Well, I say we. He got himself to a place. I think his perfect game ranking might have got down to like 120. And then guess what? All of a sudden, now this kid is committed to Georgia Tech. Oh, what happens then? Guess what? Now his ranking shoots up like 50, right? Just because he committed to Georgia Tech. But it wasn't because I can't say what it was because. We do a whole lot of praying, right? But let's stay with this. His ranking went up because he committed to Georgia Tech. It wasn't because he went to a perfect game showcase and he put up some crazy kind of numbers. And Barron's route to getting drafted was very, very unconventional. He didn't play for some top travel ball program in the country in Georgia. We were competitive. I coached him, right? We were competitive. We competed with everybody. We competed with teams that had every single player on the team was committed to Vanderbilt and Louisville and Texas and every place like that. But we competed, right? So I knew that as long as my kids, we put a good product on the field and they get out, the most important thing, D, and I want you to harp on this too, because I know you talk to a lot of college coaches. It's hard this year. It was hard to be a 17U kid this year because you couldn't go to nobody's campus, and D1 coaches couldn't come out to watch you. I don't even think D2 coaches could come out to watch you. It was pretty much all D3 and JUCO, right?
Yeah.
That can
I heard D2 could go out there though. I don't know. I could be wrong. I heard D2 could go out there.
Okay. All right. So my point is, you're supposed to be able to go to college campuses. That's why I tell the families that I'm involved with, I'm like, listen, you need to map out about 10, 15, 20 schools that you think that your son can play at, and then you need to contact their recruiting coordinator, find out when they're going to do a doggone prospect camp, and get on campus. That's what you do. That is how you go about getting recruited. Forget trying to rely on perfect game. and the website or PBR or whoever it is to get you recruited. You got to do your job, reach out to people, get on their campus, and let your son go show. That is how you show. You showcase by showing up on their campus and showing that you're a ball player, and they can't deny you.
Time out. Again, Roo, I had the DJ, the thing should go off again. All right, you know what I'm saying? So I just posted this the other day. Me and one of me and one of my dudes was talking this 2 days ago, and I've seen the benefit. You know what I mean of a small 20 to 30 player going on the campus. You know what I'm saying of the school and competing, having the college coaching staff run this, the showcase for that particular day.
Yep.
All right. I asked this of the group about would you rather play, and I asked this of you. It's piggybacking over what you just said, but I asked the parents this in multiple groups over the last couple of days, including a few of my own pages. Would you be a parent? And if I had a son, would I want him to go to a big time showcase like a World with Bat with multiple teams, multiple schools there, all right, or go to an enclosed showcase at a particular school with 20 to 30 players, kind of, I ain't gonna say necessarily invite only, but like I've done it with my organization where I took 20 or 30 my players and we went onto the campus and I let the coach run the practice, and he wrote down all the names and whatever, certain guys he liked and whatever. But it was an enclosed practice right in there on the campus. The kids got to see the campus, got to see meet the coaching staff and all of that. So I asked you, being a coach many years, going through it with Baron, all right, what would you tell these parents to do? Would you tell them, to really do the whole, the big time tournaments, multiple schools there to get exposure that way, or go to a camp, to a school that you kind of are interested in, and go into a closed, 20 to 30 camp, camper type, camp at that particular school, and in front of those coaching staff that are running the program, they're running the camp. What would you do?
You got to get on campus. First and foremost, you got to get on campus. Picture this. And it is a great experience. It's a great thing to see. So if you know about Lake Point here in Atlanta, this is where a perfect game used to be. Now it's PBR does this thing here. But Lake Point is still there. Lake Point has 8 regulation size fields. All of them are turf or, field turf surface. So no bad hops, you know what I'm saying? No rainouts. But here's the thing. Because there's so many fields and it's congested in this one area, you can imagine pulling up into this place. And I told you that at these tournaments, there are about 300 to 400 teams from all over America that be at these one tournaments, all right, every weekend, right? 17U this weekend, 16U this weekend, 15U this weekend. But let's just think about 17U real quick. 17U, in my opinion, is the most important year of your travel baseball or your baseball career thus far, because it is the year where you're recruited the most, all right, and you're next up, right? You're next up for these college coaches. So picture being at this place, picture there being, probably about, so I just said that there's 8 fields. So there's a game going on 8. There's 2 teams on each field, and then there's 2 teams waiting to play, and then there's another, and all of their parents, and all of the professional scouts, all of the college recruiters that you can think of. Everybody got their colors on. It is a madhouse. It's like going to the county fair for baseball. You got a vendor down the aisles. Everybody's selling all kinds of stuff. There's people everywhere, bumper to bumper. And I'm not exaggerating, right, D? So every single kid there wants to play college baseball. Every single one of them. And so what makes your kid stand out? Because he hits a bomb during the game? Well, a college coach, the college that you wanted, need to have been at that game when you did it. Maybe the word might travel around the park. Maybe maybe the crowd yells as your boy is circling the bases, and then everybody runs over to the field to see what was going on. They'd be like, ooh, what? Or somebody says somebody throwing 94, so they run down to this side or that side. You can hope for that, right? But that's not what I want to bank on. What I want to bank on is, hey, um, College of Charleston. I know that you're having a man. Shout out to College of Charleston, and I don't even know who's coaching there, but I just called you out. I'm having a, I'm having. I might need to reach out to that coach. I'm having a, they're having a prospect camp at their school on a Sunday or Saturday and a Sunday. Come on down. We're running practice, and we're gonna play a game at the end just to see how kids compete. All right, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take my show horse, right? Because like my son, my wife and I call him. He is our big brown, right? He's our big horse. We're gonna ride with him, and we're gonna bring him down and compare him to whoever else is in the house, right? So you take your son, and you know he been working hard, and but man, he ain't as big as everybody else, but he got more heart than everybody else out here, and I know he gonna outwork everybody else that's there. You need to get his ass to that school and let them coaches see him. I want a grinder on my team. I want a kid that I see that when he's at first base and he reads a ball in the dirt and now he's standing on second base, that's a baseball player. That guy knows what he's doing. He got instincts. You know what, son? I like you. What kind of grades you make? You know what I mean? So now the conversation starts when you start seeing that other tool that nobody talks about, that IQ that people don't talk about. That's the kind of stuff that I'm looking for as a college coach. So to answer your question, I know I went a roundabout way, but hopefully I covered all the bases. I need to get my son on a college campus so that so that coaches can see his heart, can see his grit, along with his tools. Because what they're trying to do is project.
They can't see that. They can't see that in a big time tournament with multiple teams, multiple and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Those all these schools at that particular, they can't see that.
Not unless they came to see him. The only way they're going to do that is if they came to see him, right? If the spotlight was on him, yes, they can picture that out. But what's going to get them out to come see you? You got to raise your hand and say, "Hey, I'm interested in your school." All right. So at that point, then they say something like, "Send me your schedule. Send me some film. We might have room." Oh, D, we forgot to say this. Every school don't have room for your kid.
Every school don't have what?
Every school don't have room. Every school don't need a center fielder. Every school don't need a catcher. Just because you want to go there, we don't need a first baseman. We got 3. And they're all freshmen. Right? So, and that's the way that goes, man. I know I can get long-winded, but
no, but this is what it's for, man. And because you've been through, you experienced it, and that's why I have you on here, man. So there are some questions coming in, Vic, man. Let me first, Mark asks, the question, I don't know if you see it. What is the name of the baseball program in Atlanta that Vic coaches?
Okay, so I started a program called Radcliff Sports Training. Our baseball program is Outlaws Baseball. I like a fledgling. We're new. Like I'm gonna say, as of about 3. This is August. I did not know in May that we were going to have any teams. Since the pandemic, everywhere shut down. I had this nice, this huge blessing over here at Lakeside High School that allowed me to continue using their cages. And I have grown this thing from like 8 clients to about 67 or so. And then along this whole way, people kept asking me, "Are you going to do teams? Are you going to have a 14? Are you going to have this?" I'm like, "No, I don't. I wasn't planning on doing that, but let me see if we can put a team together." All right. So as a result, now we have a 12U full-time, a 14 and a 16U full-time, and we have a 12U fall and an 8U fall. So, I done dove back into the coach pitch, and I can't wait to get them fools going. And they're learning. Listen, I'm not a tall guy, but I'm looking down on these guys, and they want to get some baseball in, and their parents see that, man, there's a guy coaching my kid hard and yelling at him and making him move faster than I can make him move. That's why I always listen. If you see me on Instagram or wherever you might have seen me before, all I talk about is, hey, did this kid get better today? Did you find a guy that's going to push your son to go hard? Because the reason why I say these things, because I know for myself, from my own experience, that I left a job in South Carolina in search of a program and a coach that's going to coach my son the way that I would, so I can
Mm,
just be his dad.
mm.
And
Can you
you
can
know,
you can you
that's
can you, I love telling this story, okay? For
oh
us
man.
parents, right? That and I promise you, parents listening, you need to hear this. And you also, I will get to your questions. I promise you all of that. But I love you talking about, I'm anyway. I'm gonna let him. I've had him on my as a guest, but I love this story. This is, you know, it's a reason why Marin is in the Phillies uniform right now, getting drafted. Besides him being a freaking monster and food wise and all of that, but along the way, a lot of things can happen and mess up a child because we all, as parents, are trying to make the right decisions. That's what we're trying to do, right? And I know my parents. I just talked about this with my own daughter. Made the proper decisions to get me in the right place, the right time, the right opportunities to get me to, which helped me get to the league, right? So, Vic, if you could, I don't want to take it off you. Sorry. I want you to go and tell your story. Go back to how you got to where Barron got drafted just this past June. But go, let's take it back because you're about to start on it. But please tell that story again, please. I love it.
So listen, D Brown, the last time you and I played together, Barron was a baby in a car seat, right? And before games, I would bring him into the clubhouse, put him down on the on the floor, and let the pitchers watch him while we go out and stretch. That is the dumbest thing ever, man. If some manager of some team and my player pro ball come in here talking about, hey man, you mind if I just leave my son in here while I go out and stretch? I'm gonna say, you know what, son? You don't want to play. You don't. Your priorities are not in the right place. You need to go be a daddy. Get off my field, right?
Uh-huh.
So, and I said that because the reason why I do many of the things that I do is because I've learned from the mistakes that I made and the
Mm,
stupidness
mm,
that I've put out before, right?
mm,
Um, but all these things have worked for my good. Even the negative stuff, right? It has all worked out for my good. Um, I was a I was a school teacher. I still am a school teacher, but I was in my 6th year of teaching in South Carolina. I was coaching football and baseball. I love coaching baseball. I love coaching football. I happened to be a quarterback coach and a receivers coach at the time in this particular year. My son was in the 9th grade. I had already been coaching at this school, and this is where I graduated from high school. So this is the place that I got drafted out of. This is where I came back to work. I'm in my 6th year here. It was good enough for me. It should be good enough for my family, right? That's what I thought. So, like I said, I'm in my 6th year. Now, I've already been there 5 years prior to Barron even getting up here. So Barron has always come up, as the little guy. Everybody saw him grow. Now here he is, a freshman. He about 6'2". Everybody think he's supposed to be Cam Newton right now, right? So people are looking at him like, how come mentally you aren't where we think you're supposed to be? Your dad was a draft pick. Your mom played NCAA basketball. You're supposed to be like the man right now. And so Barron
mm,
faced a lot of pressure as a youngster that I thought that was not that he did not feed off of. Right? It
mm,
wasn't. It was crippling for him, and I
mm,
saw it with my own eyes. Like one day, it was one day. I was on a football field, and I saw him. It was time to break and beat the 9th grade team went that way, and the JV went this way, and the varsity went another way. And when everybody broke, Barron was like, looking on like he don't know which way to go because one week he's on the 9th grade team, the next week he taking picture with the varsity. Then they
mm,
telling you, so he didn't know what to do, and nobody
mm,
was telling him what to do. Like
mm,
so, he was like, and it crushed me that day. I was like, you know what, man? It was at that time, but I hadn't made a decision by then. But it was at that time I was like, this ain't it. This ain't it for him. I got to figure something out. And so then Christmas break came around, and there was a situation happened at school that I felt like was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I was like, you know what? I got to get us out of here. This is not where we need to be. My kids grew up in an environment because my wife was the director of ops for women's basketball at Ohio State. I was like, I loved it when we were in the college atmosphere. I want to get back around there. I started looking for schools in Raleigh, North Carolina area. I thought NC State, UNC, that was a good area. Man, I want to go to Durham, right? I'm searching, and North Carolina and Norcross football keeps coming up. Like, I ain't even type in. You know what I'm saying? I was typing in universities in North Carolina, but Norcross high school football kept coming up. Let me, is God telling me something? I looked into it. The next day, D, I got dates because this stuff is so significant in my life. But my New Year's resolution was, and here I'm about to preach now. My New Year's resolution was, Lord, I want to hear you speak to me. This is where I was, D, because I knew it was time for us to go. But I want you to speak to me. Do we need to be here? Do we need to go somewhere else? I'm sitting at my desk at school. It was like the first day we came back to school. I started looking for these places. Norcross High School football came up several times. I reached out to the high school football coach in an email. Like, the email was just like, how likely is it that someone could transfer or a teacher could leave a job in South Carolina and get a job in Atlanta? Because, of course, I can't move anywhere without a job.
Right.
And then I asked him that question. I said, oh, by the way, I have a son who's a freshman quarterback who's about 6'2". Do you know this man text? He reached back out to me within like 10 minutes, right? Next thing you know, we're on the phone. That was on a Tuesday, D. The Tuesday we got back from the break. By that Friday, me, Nikki, and Barron were in the car driving to Atlanta to go visit. Like, I say visit, right? We came here to visit Norcross High School, and they rolled out the carpet for us. Man, it was so cool.
Right.
And that coach, when we sat down in our office, he was like, "Oh, this is good for you parents also." That coach said, "Before you go, I need you to know that we have the best 9th grade quarterback that we've ever had here at this school." Now, mind you, they just came off of 2 back-to-back state championships in the highest classification of football in Georgia. Now, this is Georgia football. So I look at Barron like, so does that mean that you don't want to come here? And he was like, no. So because me and my wife,
I know that face. Yeah.
Me and my wife were like, we ain't come here because we think that there's going to be some free road. We want to. Right. It's either sink or swim. This man talking about Barron said he want to be an All-American. So we're going to leave this school, if possible, of 1,300, and we're going to put him in this school of 4,000 and see what happens. So sink or swim, right? So next thing you know, D, I'm just saying, like, it was all, it all just, the road just got paved. Teachers don't normally get let out of contracts that time of year. We're talking about February, right? Principal John Murphy let me out of my contract. Vic, I wish you the best. I was able to get a job here at this 9th inning baseball facility. They were good to me for 6 years. I started out there. Like I said, we made a sacrifice. I did not get paid nearly what I was getting paid when I was a teacher in South Carolina. But I was like, man, I just need enough money so we can live, have a roof over our head, and eat. Barron and I moved here. My wife and my daughter stayed in South Carolina until the end of the school year because we just couldn't afford it. But we were going to make it work some kind of way. So I go back to saying, parents, I know you make sacrifices for your kid. You're going to do what you need to do. So I knew that it wasn't going to work out where we were. Norcross High School came out of nowhere. They rolled out the red carpet and say, hey, get them here how you can. We figured out a way. Happened to be okay, how did I get the job at 9th inning? A guy who was the pitching coach on my coaching staff in South Carolina, his best man owned the facility here in Atlanta, hooked us up.
Wow.
Next thing you know, here we are, living in some apartment, me and Barron and my brother, alone, no wife, no daughter. I got to cook. I mean, it was like, Barron, here goes some money, man. Get yourself something off the dollar menu from no lie. I'm not joking. Most times it was Barron, get yourself something. Because I was, I had to build my clientele. I was working till 9 o'clock every night. I didn't see him play baseball that year because we moved here in the spring. Right. I did not see him play baseball during the school year that year. So because I was there until 9 o'clock almost every night. Barron, here's his $5, dude. Burger King is right there on the corner. Get yourself something to eat. If I was feeling real freaky, I would go and cook up some chicken breasts or something like that. Eat that and some broccoli. I'll see you when I get home. So
Uh-huh.
that's how we got to Atlanta, man. Like no joke. I didn't burn any bridges. It was just like, this is not working here. I need to get my son to someplace where it's going to benefit him. I wasn't
Mm,
trying to look out for me. I didn't, I'm like, I just need something. I just need to make some money so that it can work out for him. I didn't
mm,
move here. I didn't move to Atlanta for myself,
mm,
but we did uproot our family
mm.
because I felt like I prayed about it. I said, I thought that this is what God said do. Well, you know how the story goes. The man
Boy,
lived back about the Phillies. Here we are.
it, I love that story because we hear these, us parents, we know we try to do everything we can for our kids. And when you told me that story and you stepping out, and it wasn't easy, man. You making good money, Nikki making good money, but you like, this is not the place for my son. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta jump ship and uproot it. And it may be hard in the beginning, but I just feel, because you got to be led by faith in that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
I feel
Yes.
this is the best decision I can make right now, and we're gonna roll with it. And that decision end up being the best decision you guys made as a family. And whatever, 6, 7, 8 years later, you know what I'm saying? The boy, 6, 7 years later, he's putting on a Philly uniform, getting drafted, man. And I love that story, man. When we talk about it from a parent standpoint, man, I love hearing it. It inspires me as a dad. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm parents. I hope you hear that, man. So, anyway, let's get some of these questions, Vic, man. How did you get him to Georgia Tech? I mean, pretty much. Uh, what was that through their summer prospect camp? That's one of the schools that we are interested in.
That's why I say Barron's road to where he is now is unconventional. He didn't go to a Georgia Tech prospect camp. I think I know for sure that. Well, okay, so first of all, Barron became a draft prospect. So at that point, it wasn't hard to convince a school that you you could take a chance on this guy
And
because
he
he is
went
a
late.
first.
I mean, he was unsigned. We talk about all these Power Fives, and I think somebody has a question. I'm gonna put it in there, but Barron wasn't, committed as a ninth or 10th grader. He went into his senior year uncommitted. So essentially, he was a pro prospect before he got an offer from a D1 school. All right, you know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes, yes, exactly, exactly. D. He had no D1. He had no offers. Period. Central Florida was his first offer, and I told you earlier in this conversation that we went down to this PG National thing, and he did pretty
Right.
good down at this PG National thing, and so Central Florida made him his first offer. As a matter of fact, this is why I say this thing is all divine. We were sitting in a restaurant because he had recently told me, Dad, I don't want to play college football. He had a couple offers already, right? But he was like, I don't want to do it. And really, he did it because he felt scorned. I don't want to go into that right now. But he said, I don't want to play college football. I just want to focus on baseball. Well, you and I both know that if you wait until 17U year, that's too late. Everybody already handed out the scholarships already,
Especially the Power Fives. Mm-hmm.
especially at the Power Five. And there's a story behind that too. Okay, so they made Georgia Tech. I can't say it. So I can't say it. So anyway, how did he get to Georgia Tech? We were sitting in this restaurant. Barron was like, Dad, I have no offers. Where are we going with this thing? 15 minutes later, D, I'm not lying to your people now.
Mm,
15
mm.
minutes later, my phone rang. Hey, Mr. Radcliffe, this is such and such from University of Central Florida. Can I speak to Barron Radcliffe? I was like, sure.
Mm.
Gave him the
15
phone.
minutes. 15 minutes. 15 minutes.
15 minutes, D.
Mm,
Had no offers, no
mm,
baseball offers. He goes
mm.
outside, he come back, he's like, Dad, got my first offer. All we did, we laughed just like this. We
Right.
laughed just like this because I was like, wow, my mind is blown. So,
Uh-huh.
so how did he get to Georgia Tech? Heath Honeycutt is a guy, and I think he had a lot to do with it. Heath Honeycutt is a guy who owns ninth inning baseball. He went to Georgia Tech, was an All-American there, still has good ties with the people who were there at the time, especially Brian Prince, who was the recruiting coordinator at the time. So Barron was in a position as a pro prospect that he could really command where he wanted to go to school. So we got a bit. So Georgia Tech reached out to Barron. I don't know how. I'm just going to say Heath Honeycutt did it. I'm going to go ahead and give him the props for that. I don't know if he did or not, but I know that we were in ninth innings program. He has some ties there. I don't know. All right, so it don't matter. Georgia Tech reached out to Barron because that's our hometown and said, hey, man, we want you to come in for a visit. We got down there. Georgia Tech pretty much told him, he was like, I don't know. He said, I'm giving y'all some insider stuff. He said, we really don't have any more money. And Coach Hall don't know I'm going to do this. But Barron, if we know that you're going to get drafted, but in the event that you don't, we want you to come to Georgia Tech. So I'm telling you wholeheartedly, D, I knew Barron was going to get drafted. Like, there was nothing you could tell me that would say that he was not. We had a number and everything. He gonna get it, right? The way that things were going for him, we knew he was gonna get drafted. So, but at the same time, I kept it in mind. I was like, hey, I told my wife, I was like, babe, we gotta make sure that we get this paperwork. Okay, so he committed to Georgia Tech, right? And then I said, listen, we need to get all the paperwork filled out because we don't know how this draft thing is gonna go for sure. So let's just make sure we fill out this paperwork and make sure everything is in place in the event. Because I don't want to question God, right? Like I feel like I knew he was going to get drafted. But at the same time, I was like, I don't want to just say that I know what's going to happen. I'm going to make sure all of our bases are covered.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Cover your
if the
team,
draft
got your
don't
eyes.
go right, like it didn't. So they did call talking about this low ball number. Like, will you take this? No, he going to school. And I think they thought that we were joking. Like, because most kids that look like us, D, they take the money. I'm just gonna be real.
Right. And that's a whole nother, and when you told me that story over there, and I'm like, it ain't changed, man. Here it is 20 some years after we done, and I'm like, the game has not changed. You know what I'm saying? And I listen, that's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? When it come to draft process, how they draft us, how they lowball us, and think we just gonna take anything. You know what I'm saying? And listen, man, that's a whole nother story, man. I don't want to get it.
Okay, so that's why parents, I don't care what your color is, it's very important that your son does not put all his stock into getting drafted. He needs to have a college commitment in his pocket. That is his bargaining chip. And even if he does have that, they still try to get you. Now, like you said, they like to go at us like this. I can't figure it out. It ain't for me to figure out because what he needed was to go to Georgia Tech.
Right.
Me, you, we were ready to get drafted out of high school. My son was not ready to get drafted out of high school. I wanted him to have that college experience. It was a great thing for him. He faced adversity. He faced great times. He figured out how to be a man pretty much with his parents right down the street instead of having to be 10 hours or 24 hours away. So I'm happy about how it worked out because all that struggle that we went through with him, he needed that to get him to get that fire in him. And I'll tell parents this right now. I told a dad this a couple months ago. I was like, especially dads like us who have been through it, have been competitive, have been on a high level of whatever. We know what kind of level of fire it takes to get what you want. But sometimes our sons don't have that fire that we know he needs to have in order to get there. So my solution to that is, Dad, you have to have the fire for him until he gets it. And that's how it works. You got to push him. You got to push him. You got to tell him what to do. You got to stay in his ass until he gets it himself. And mine didn't get it until sophomore year in freaking college.
Preach. Spitting. Oh, man. Let me get some of these comments, man. Let me see. He says school scouts, they listen to who they know. At the end of the day, the radar gun doesn't talk. Trust speaks volumes. And Vic, Luke, my son, trust. All right. All right. Yeah. Brandon says that. And that's ultimately we talk about when these college coaches come on. Sometimes, the perfect game ain't gonna be it. It's gonna be that you take the Heat or somebody that a college coach is really going to understand and value their opinion when it comes to a kid. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that Heat is a ball player, pro guy, and like, yo, this Baron kid is the real deal. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's what it's about, man. All right.
Yep.
Let me get Lord have mercy. I mean, this is a lot. This my
Go
boy
ahead.
Bill, the whole screen. Lord have mercy. Uh, Parents have to understand that the number 60 power schools each give 10 scholarships per year, 600 scholarships to each time referral alumni friend. So that leaves 200 scholarships for 100,000 players. If your player does not throw 90, run a 6.5, or hit the ball 400 feet, it's not going to happen at the Power 5 level. All right, and all of that to say he's right at the back part of it. Basically, you know, that it's nothing wrong with not going to a Power 5. You heard and listen, I'm gonna share this. I didn't share it to the groups like I normally did, but Vic, the Rutgers coach, had a great saying, man. Oh man, he said, and I should remember this quote. He said, "Go where he's wanted. Go play where he's wanted, not the level that." He said it's not about the level he plays at. Is oh god, for my people that are listening in, Lord have mercy. He had the awesome saying. I'm chopping it up. Gosh, you know what I'm saying. I should have wrote it down, and that's forgive me. You know what I'm saying for
But
that. But he
the
basically was
meat of
saying
the meat of what you're saying is that you want your kid to go where he's wanted.
wanted, right, and not and don't worry about the level because we play with dudes, junior college guys, Division
Yeah.
three, Division two, Division one guys that you know they ain't all come from Power Five schools. You know
But
what I'm saying?
no. And like I was saying, Power Five schools they run out of scholarships quick because a lot of people these days are getting offered ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. Okay, somebody might ask the question.
It
Okay,
is.
let me
Right.
see this.
It's right there.
What are
Look,
your
here you go. What are your
Okay?
thoughts on
There it
early
is.
verbal commits,
What are your
eighth,
thoughts
ninth
on
grade,
early verbal commits?
and how
Okay,
often do early commits work out or not work out?
all right. I got a good story. Dude, I got a story for all these freaking questions. I
Let's go.
promise you, parents, I done been through this
Let's
thing with myself and my son, or. So
let's go.
okay, so when I was coaching high school ball, I had this kid get offered by a school that I won't name, and they offered him as a sophomore because he came in and he showed a lot of tools as a sophomore. He really only played about 3 varsity games. Okay, now they offered him because they saw his tools. College
Mm,
coaches and pro scouts like to project what is this kid going to be on my team in a couple years. Where is he going? So it's like, okay, if a kid is already 6'2", he already throws 85 in the 8th grade. Okay, so I project that by the time he's a senior, this is going to happen, right? But sometimes that kid that throws 88 as a 8th grader and is already 5'9", he don't grow any taller than 5'9" by the time he's a senior. And then you've been thinking that you already got that commitment to whatever university, Power 5, and then by the time you get a senior, you ain't grown no more, and you still only throwing about 88, or you throwing less now. Now they taking the scholarship off, and you thought you were going to that school your whole college career.
mm.
So
High school.
that's how that works. So
Hmm.
another question. Let me just piggyback off that question. How does a kid even get committed, or how does he get offered that at that age? I'm going to tell you why.
Mm,
Because this kid probably went to a camp at that particular university. They
mm,
saw what kind of athletic tools he has.
mm,
He might have hit a bomb or something
mm,
during the workout. He probably
mm,
runs like a deer. They probably showed
mm,
he has a cannon on his shoulder. And then they
mm,
said, "You know what, son? I like you a lot. I think you got heart. We want you to come be in our program. Boom,
mm,
here's your offer."
mm,
That's how that
mm.
happens.
That fast.
It ain't
And
it
they
ain't
and
just
now they
it
got to
ain't
hold on to the kid for 4 years. The kid showed one day at the showcase, which are good, but now he stopped. What I hate about it, that the kid walks around town wearing the logo, turning down all these other schools and all of
yeah.
that type of stuff. And the coach said it earlier today at Rutgers, and we know this. I've learned this talking to these coaches that he just said a lot of these schools, especially now with the buyers, but even before that, They only need about 8 to 10 kids, but they giving 20 kids scholarships. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So some of them are just, the day before the signing day are telling the kids, or some of them even dirtier, bringing the kids to the on the campus, working them out all four, and then after the four, it's like, yo, nah, we don't need you. You know what I'm saying? And now you stuck. I'm like, yo, this dirty out here. I'm like, this college game is dirty, man. I'm like, yo, this is
Hey,
like a pro game out here, man. You know?
hey, just because you signed that letter of intent does not mean that you're going to be playing for that school.
Mm,
Y'all
mm,
better realize right now, it's still after you get there, you still have to make that team
mm,
as a freshman. After you
mm,
get there, you still have to make that team.
mm,
They don't tell you that.
mm,
All right.
mm. All right, my boy Jay Meyer says, I hope y'all listening, man. This game right here, I hope y'all listening to this, man. My question is, when you come from a small town in Wisconsin or even in the Midwest, we often don't see scouts at high school games, and we don't see showcases up here or don't hear about them. Do we send the kids to college camps, and how young should the kids be going to these camps?
I'm gonna say yes. And listen, my brother went to a Clemson week long sleepaway camp when he was like 11. Right? There's a difference between the week long sleepaway camp and a prospect camp. The
Mm,
prospect camp may be just 1 day or
mm,
2 days, and it's
mm,
not a sleepover. It's
mm,
just, I'm coming here, coach, because I want you to evaluate me to see if I fit in your program. All schools have a prospect camp. How soon can I go? As soon as you feel like your son is ready to show. Like
mm,
I said earlier, my son, I felt like that's my show pony, but I didn't do that with him because we thought that he was going to go play college football.
mm,
So
mm,
I didn't do that for baseball. So we did not go that route. But that is the route though. That is the route. When you're ready for your show pony to show, then you, which is like hopefully around sophomore year, you're ready to show. You're ready to
mm,
show who you are as a sophomore. We can
mm,
all right, I'm gonna say this right here. People think there's a bad connotation with the acronym PO, right? It's like I don't want my son to be labeled as a PO. Well, has he hit yet? If he ain't hit yet by like 15, he's
right.
not gonna hit. And that
Mm,
is not a slight to that kid, but he's a beast on the mound. How about stop wasting time then with the hitting portion and then focus on getting him better as a pitcher or honing his craft as a pitcher? There's nothing
mm,
wrong.
mm,
It's not like a failure if you can't hit anymore.
mm. Let me ask you
There's
this, Vic.
tons of pitchers. Huh?
I'm sorry. Keep going, please. I'm sorry.
No, there's tons of pitchers who are strong as an ox and can hit the ball over the fence in batting practice,
Yes.
but they can't do it in the game because they're just
Yes.
not a hitter. And
Right.
it's not a slight to them because they can't hit anymore. Like
Right.
the game gets too fast, but man, he's a beast on the mound. Stop
Mm,
thinking that because your son is on the verge of being a PO, then that means he's less of a baseball player.
mm,
No, how about just own it, right? Welcome it and get better at your. Where am I going to make my money? So if you can really realistically say,
mm,
where am I going to make my money? And
mm,
if you got to say it's on the mound, why waste time hitting anymore? It
mm.
don't make no sense. You're wasting
Hey,
money and you're wasting time.
hey, amen to that. Because I promise you, by the time D Brown was 13, his pitching career was over, and I ain't care. The pitching and the catching career was over. And ask D Brown if he cared any 2 cents. Did he feel less of a ball player? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? So, I get it, man. I don't care. Listen, you know what I'm saying? I ain't batting an eye out there like, yo, keep me off the mound. Let me go try to hit this ball over the fence. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Uh,
exactly,
all right.
exactly.
So Russ says, should kids play up to increase bat speed and baseball IQ and be an average player, or stay down and dominate?
First of all, I think that's a great question, but I'm going to say this and don't take it the wrong way. Playing up is not going to increase your baseball IQ. All right. So,
Mm,
um,
mm,
knowing the game, like, okay, I give an example when I say stuff like baseball IQ. So, knowing, like, let's just say you got there's a bunt, there's a run on first, and the first baseman fields the bunt, and all he has a chance to do, or the third baseman fields the ball, He throws the ball to first base, and the first baseman catches the ball and throws the ball to second base immediately because he knows that guy that's running from first is going to circle the bag, and then we tag a guy out. Like, that's baseball IQ. That is thinking the game ahead. And I'm not going to say that you just get baseball IQ because you play up. The competition level, right? So it's not the IQ, it is the level of difficulty that's going to increase when you play up. The kids are stronger, they're faster. People take away those ground balls through the infield that you used to get, or they run them down more in the outfield or stuff. Just the difficulty of the game increases. Yeah, that can increase your mental toughness. It can increase your knowledge of the game when it comes to, I know that I can do this, I can get away with that type of stuff. But you still got to have, the main thing, guys, is you got to have that coach that's going to teach your kid how to read balls in the dirt, teach your kid how to think the game through before it happens, how to read balls off the bat, how to know, okay, if my pitcher if I'm playing on the middle infield or the outfield, and I know that my pitcher's getting ready to throw a fastball to a left-handed batter, and I can see that he swung late, that ball's going to be hit to the other side. That kind of baseball IQ right there that kind of stuff is what increases your level of baseball IQ, just anticipating the game, but not just playing up. Now, to answer your question, stay down and dominate. I never played my son up. The reason why I never played my son up is because I know that confidence is the king in baseball. And if you put your son in a situation where they're going to get dominated and they're not going to have success very often, that's killing their spirit. You don't want that. You got to be careful. If he can compete on that level with those older kids, then cool. But if he's getting out all the time, he's not seeing any success because they're dominating him, then he don't need to do that. I'll give you an example. Damn it. My son was 13 years old. In the 8th grade, he played JV baseball. Man, this is perfect. So when you play JV baseball, you're playing against 9th and 10th graders. Well, he had never played against kids that age. He'd never seen curveballs like that before. He had not even played at 60, 90 yet, right? So now, boom, I'm out here on this field with these older kids. Now, although he did lead the team in RBIs, he led the team in strikeouts. Guess what? At the end of that year, he's like, Dad, I don't want to play baseball this summer. And I was like, why? I just don't want to play. So I go back and I look at the numbers and I see, damn, look at them strikeouts. You know what I'm saying? I realized that he had faced a level of failure that he had never faced before. So it killed his spirit. He didn't want to play baseball no more. Well, and I didn't argue with him over it. I didn't say, no, you're going to play. I did not do that. I said, all right, you ain't got to play. 3 weeks went by, and I told him, hey, man, my team, your age, needs a guy this weekend. Can I count on you? Sure enough, his ass went out there and murdered baseballs, right? Because he was playing with kids his age. And he forgot why he didn't like baseball in the first place. Right. That's why it's good for kids to have some sort of break during the year. So that's a story for another day.
That's another day. Oh God,
baseball is mentally taxing. You have to give your brain a chance to relax. Dude, D, you already know this. We never even talked about this before, but I think that you could probably ask any pro baseball player that after you play all them doggone games over the summer, when you go home, it's like I was like shutdown mode for at least 2 weeks. I ain't going out the house. I don't want to do nothing.
A month. Shit.
You know what I'm saying? I need my brain a chance to come back. I'm mush right now. I've been having to think like that all summer.
You stressing, you trying to perform, fans, evaluation, the anxiety of where you gonna be next year. It's good when you balled out, you know what I'm saying? But hey, that those it's a different level, and the sad part of this travel ball, dealing with college and all of that type of stuff, it's a different anxiety from I guess because in high school, I tell these kids all the time, high school was the last time I ever had fun playing baseball. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just about playing ball. When you get that, you sign that pro contract, and it sounds like the college game is getting like that too, where it's a business and it is very cutthroat. You know what I'm saying? And some high school programs I know it's almost like that in high school, but I was like, that's the last time it was just a freedom. It was just like, yo, let's play with my boys, have a good time. At
Yeah.
that day I signed that contract, it was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? It's about competing, got to do better, and it's taxing. You know what I'm saying? I play 30 games a year to playing 150, 100 some games. I was like, yo, woo, you know. But you're
Yep.
right, you're right. Let me
Yep.
let me see. Trying to get these breakthroughs. Any all right, Condi. All right,
Breakthrough
Condi says
series.
trying to get in with the breakthrough series. Any ideas of getting on that radar?
Okay. I can if that person can send me a message privately. Um, I can tell them how to do that. I've coached a couple kids who have played in the breakthrough series down in Florida. Um, so if they send me a message, I will reach out to the person that I know, find out how they got involved with it, and then I can give them some answers on that. I've never participated in that breakthrough series, so I don't have the answer for that particular question, but I can get the answer for you.
All right, same here. No, you know, Dell Matthews, um, and gosh, used to be the gym. No, it used to be my gym. I can't think of the top of his name right now. But the Angels, they run that breakthrough series. But yeah, just message Vic, and we go from there. All right. Let's go with Bark says, when did Vic know that Barron could play at a high of level during his development process? When did he see Barron start to blossom?
Um, Shoot, I mean, all during Barron's baseball career. So let me just say this: he only played baseball during baseball season. I'm, and when I say he was a football guy, we did football during football. We did baseball during baseball. And so I coached him up. I coached him up in both sports. I've always seen that he had the talent. I saw that he had the tools. The man has always. Barron hit his first home run over the fence when he was 7 in coach pitch. So I always knew. I was like, damn, this dude strong. You know what I'm saying? He got a natural swing now. Like his swing has looked good for a long time. Like I used to ask people used to ask me when he was real young, like, man, how does he swing the bat like that? His core is strong. He knows the proper way to swing the bat. He's always it's like when you teach your kid. I'll give you an example. It's like a kid who's bilingual and they can speak English and Spanish from the time that they learn how to speak, right? So that's what Barron. When I say I really put a bat in his hand as soon as he can walk, Barron's been hitting a baseball forever. Like we've been in the backyard with him with the big red bat and the big white ball and the
Mm-hmm.
big yellow tee forever, right? Just letting him whack at it. Not even trying to do it right, but you know, at that age it's kind of like just let him hit it.
Yeah.
See the ball and hit it. And then you move on
Mm-hmm.
to, all right, here you go. You know, you toss it and they hit the ball every
Mm-hmm.
now and again, stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
we've taken those baby steps with him, but I've seen him blossom all over his, you know, all over his life. And I knew he had the talent to do it. It was just a matter of can he do it against the highest level of competition? And we didn't get that to him um, when he was in his high school years because he was playing 7-on-7 and stuff like that during the summer. So he didn't face that high level baseball in the summertime. Not consistently. He would just show up when he didn't have football to do. So it was
Mm-hmm.
inconsistent. He wasn't used to seeing 90 plus at
Mm-hmm.
15 years old, like these kids are now. Like these kids now are seeing 14U 88 miles an hour, 15U 90, 16U 94. You know what I'm saying? They're seeing plus pitching.
Mm-hmm.
They've been seeing it forever, so they're used to it. So
That's
now
right.
when guys are throwing 100 miles an hour in the big leagues, yeah, it's coming hard, but you
Right.
know, we've been seeing
Right.
this forever, right?
Right.
So anyway,
Mm.
yeah, I've been seeing him for a long time. I've
All
seen his
right.
talent a long
Uh,
time ago, so we just been pushing it.
all right. Russ says, congrats, Vic. You raised such a great son, not just a great baseball player. All right. My boy
Thank you.
Mike in Cali says, please talk more about the fire from your son's sophomore year. Also, what's the power? Also, what's the Power Five?
Power Five is the Pac-10, Big Ten, um, what is it?
ACC,
SEC, ACC,
SEC.
SEC,
You said
just
Big 12,
the
right?
Power Five conferences.
Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah, the
Power
Power
Five, the
Five
major
D1 conference.
top five. So, and he said, please talk about, more about the fire from your son's sophomore year. Like, what made him click? You know what I'm saying? When did it click? I mean, well, you said when the sophomore year, but
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
He had to. That fire came in when he realized that everybody wasn't his friend. The fire came in when he realized that just because your name is Baron Radcliffe does not mean that you're going to play.
Mm, mm,
The fire came in when he realized that, dang, I'm leading the team in strikeouts again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sucking. I'm not just, and I'm not going to play if I'm sucking. You know,
mm,
like,
mm,
so he found his fire because he was just like, I want to be good. I don't want to sit. I didn't come to this school to watch other people get good at baseball. I came to this
mm,
school to play baseball, to get better at baseball. And so I
mm,
think that's to answer your question right there is that mainly answers the question. I did not come to this school to watch other guys get better at baseball. I came here to play myself. So whenever I get my chance, in his sophomore year, he did not start. You already know this, D. He did not start his first 16 games. So
mm,
all that time while everybody's getting at bats against lower level competition, Barron didn't get a start until we were at Miami. That was his first start. He didn't get a start against Bradford.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to put down any organization. I'm just saying that
I
they're
got
not
you.
Power Five schools.
Right. Right.
So Barron got thrown in the fire at Miami, not just against Miami, but at Miami, and then he took the ball and ran with it. So he made second team All ACC that year, and and all I can look back and be like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? He doing it. He got his chance. He got on the field. Somebody got injured. That's how he got on the field. Somebody
Mm,
got injured, and
mm.
then so he got his chance, and then he never did not play in another game that year.
All right. Let me get some more of these questions in. Let me see. Are there any benefits to sign early? Seems like it only benefits the school, not the kid.
I'm gonna say. So what are we saying early is before junior year?
Right. Because you can't sign early. You just committing early because you can't sign to
Well,
your senior.
you know what they're saying. You know what they're
Yeah.
saying. Well,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
are they saying this then? Because there's an early signing period in November.
Yeah. November
Um,
of your senior year, right?
right, but I think what they mean is signing like early in your high school career. So
Like committing.
let's just answer it both ways. I don't
Okay.
think there's any benefit to signing, or I don't think there's any benefit to committing early. All that means is you took yourself off the shelf, and you hope that you pray that by the time your senior year comes around, and then it's time to sign, that they actually are going to have you come into campus. Because
Mm,
what happens when they offer Baron Radcliffe this percentage of money, and they didn't know that they were going to get him, but they offered
mm,
you some money too, and y'all
mm,
play in the same position, and then
mm,
Baron Radcliffe shows up to campus, and they like, you know what? I know that we had you commit a long time ago, but this draft prospect, just showed up on our doorstep, so we don't really have room for you anymore. Sorry, and that's really how it goes. So it
mm-hmm.
don't benefit. It does not benefit the kid to sign early. You need to just get yourself together, have your stuff in a row by the time you get to your junior year, so that you can't be denied. So that you like, you know what? I like that school right there. I'm gonna get on their campus and I'm gonna go show myself in front of their coach. And when that coach see me, he gonna know what kind of guy I am. He gonna know what kind of family I come from. And then boom, I get my offer like that. And if you don't, then that wasn't the school for you. Move on to the next one.
Hmm. Hmm. I love it. I love it. Um, we have Ronnie Jackson Mayo. Yup, two kids committed early for my sons. I got you. Brian says thanks, Vic and D. Be safe. Thank you, Brian. I know. Let me see. Parents, players. PO is the spa day living for playing the game. PO is the good life. You ain't lying, Brandon. Lord. Every squad needs POs. You right. Good stuff. Thank you, Coach. Um, did I miss anything on the PG stuff? Yes, you did, Gavin. I'm sorry, man. Just gonna have to listen to the replay. Um, maybe some comments all the way up. Is holding kids back more effective than playing up?
Um, let me answer that question like this. Um, every time I see a kid, so now it is playing by grad year, not so much how old they are. So if you're graduating in the class of 2020, then that's the team that you're gonna play on, and you might even be older, but you got held back or somebody kept you back or whatever it is. But my thing it now is there are a lot of kids who play down. They play in their age group, but they might be in a higher grad class. Like you might
Hmm.
be playing with eighth graders, but you're in the ninth grade. You're the age of eighth graders, but you're in the ninth grade. That would be I'm playing 14U baseball, and the next time I come out, I should be playing 15. But my grad year is 16U. You need to be
Mm,
jumping from 14U to 16U,
mm,
or you need to be going from 13U to 15U. And that's a
mm,
tough jump because at 13U, a lot of you haven't played on a 60/90 field yet. And if you go to 15U, it's like, whoa, what's this world? This is a
mm,
totally different thing.
mm,
So at some point, if you're in that situation where you are playing on a team where it's not your draft, your grad class, your graduation class, you're gonna have to make that jump, and you better do it before you get to 16U. You better do it before you get to 16U,
mhm,
because 17U is the year. Like you can't afford to be playing on a 16U team, but you're getting ready to graduate next year, because
mm.
scouts are gonna look at you like, why ain't you playing with your class?
Right, right.
So anyway, that's how that goes. There's when it comes to is it detrimental to play them down and stuff like that, it is when it comes to that kind of recruiting thing, because recruiters want you playing with your grad class.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I never understood that until being in travel ball in the Memphis area with kids. And some of them I get it from a size reason, but some of them was just maturity level. I didn't get that. I didn't understand that to me. I was like, yo, he'll eventually get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't, it is what it is. I never understand that. I don't think I will. So Yvette says, I tried to nudge my boys to play track in the spring and just play travel spring summer. Thoughts on
Oh,
that?
oh. So she's saying that she was trying to nudge her boys to not play high school baseball and just focus on playing travel baseball in the summer. Ooh, that's another conversation. Good question, Yvette. Um, if your son's high school baseball program is going to be detrimental to them, don't play. Don't play. I had a kid
What do you
who
mean by detrimental, man? Because
I,
a lot of these coaches sit and be like, "Oh, you still need to play high school baseball," and it ain't nothing. You hear me talking about my high school pro. You know what I'm saying? So dive into that, please.
I had a kid one summer who he was a good pitcher for me, but in his high school program, because like we go back to this PO thing, kids don't want to give up hitting, right? So for his high school, he hits and he catches and he plays third. But guess what? His school was like he was the best player they had on the team. So they pitched him, and when he wasn't pitching, he was catching. And that's a bad combination, D.
Mm-hmm.
You pitching
Mm-hmm.
and catching,
Yup. No
and
break.
you playing third. Like you,
Yeah.
you. So by the time the summer come around, you ain't
Dead
got no
on.
arm.
Yeah. Dead.
Well, if
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to make your living as a pitcher and you can't pitch, flush it down the toilet because you're not really a hitter, right?
Mm.
So,
Mm.
so if your high school program is going to be detrimental, which I mean
I.e.,
can be a
i.e.,
situ-
your coaches don't know what the hell they doing. Go ahead.
coaches don't know what the hell they're doing. They just out there, they roll the balls out, the kids making up the lineups and all that crap. It's just for fun. I just want to be with my friends. No, bang it, and use the spring, like you said, to run track, to stay in shape, to lift, all the other good stuff, and then do your travel baseball in the summer, because that's where they're getting recruited at anyway. Ain't no college coaches coming to your high school baseball games anyway.
You ain't lying. Yeah. Um, Gavin says, "I'd like to get on the breakthrough series." Vic says, "Private message him." Gavin, he was just out there at the Futures and Stars event with Big Harv out there. Big Harv was one of his coaches,
Okay.
Ken Harvey. Um, appreciate the knowledge we are getting tonight, D1s. Appreciate you listening in. Jay Meyer says, should kids be locked into positions by high school, or should they be able to be universal?
Man, listen, I just had a meeting with my parents the other night about our kids. Like I said, I'm coaching a 12U team right now, and keyword 12U. And I told them that now is the time that we develop some identity on the baseball field. It's time to stop all of this. All right, we got to figure out what you are.
Mm,
Are you a shortstop? Are you a catcher? Are you a
mm,
pitcher? So I can go
mm,
around the whole field because all of them require specific skills. A center
mm,
fielder is different than a left fielder. A
mm,
shortstop is different than a second baseman.
mm,
Third baseman is different than a first baseman. A
mm,
catcher, man, he is so valuable.
mm.
Catcher, shortstop, center fielder. Wow. So, and I don't mind guys having a secondary position, but universal, no. We need to develop who you are. What are you? If somebody asks D Brown what he is, he's an outfielder. And then he has to say, which outfielder am I? Because D, are you a center fielder? You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
it's
right.
like somebody asked me what I am. I am a shortstop. I want you to right now, parents, when you get off this thing, if they ain't sleeping yet, go ask your son what are you on a baseball field? What are you? They're gonna like, what? You don't know yet. Some of them might say, hey, listen, if your son say, I'm a shortstop, or if he say, I'm a pitcher, Dad, hey, go with it. That's
Mm,
his thing. That's what he's passionate about.
mm,
So
mm.
so 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 at 12U, we are trying to develop, help these kids identify themselves. Like, what is your identity as a baseball player? That's what we're working on this year at 12U.
All right. And Jay Meyer, your kid is, I think, 12, if I'm not mistaken, up in Wisconsin. So there you have it. Mark said I saw Baron also last year at G Tech. Saw the Brown interview, D Brown interview. Shout out to Mark. Facts, no doubt about it. Hit him with it, fellas. You most certainly do have to be somewhat selfish, but it's critical to be a good teammate. Reflect on how players can balance that. So let's go here. Hit him with it, fellas. You must certainly do have to be somewhat selfish, but it's critical to be a good teammate. Reflect on how players can balance that.
Um, the selfishness in baseball is you have to work on your craft on your own. Um, when you're trying to get, when you're trying to, like we talk about this identity thing, your time you put in is by yourself. Um, when the ball is hit to you, it is up to you to make the play, not your team. When you get the ball on the mound, when it's time for you to go shut down the other team, it's on you. It's not on your team. As a matter of fact, it's on your team to cheer you on as you do that so that they can have a chance to win, right? So this is a team sport, but it is an individual sport that requires team efforts so we can be successful, right? So um, you got to be a good teammate. My main thing with our kids is I want you to grind. I want you to be the best player you can be. I want you to think you're the best player on the field, right? But I want you to also be a good teammate. We ain't gonna point at each other. We ain't gonna yell, "Hey, come on, man!" We ain't doing none of that because ain't nobody out here perfect. And nope, because as soon as you make an error, and you're going to make one, you're going to strike out. You're gonna do something stupid. You're gonna get picked off. When you do that, you don't want to run back to the dugout. You want people to pat you on the back. Hey, man, come on, we're gonna get it next time. You want somebody to do that rather than pointing you out, calling you out, and making you want to fight and stuff like that. So we're not going to do that in the dugout. We're going to cheer each other on so that we can know that I can be. No, I did something stupid just now, but I'm confident that I'm going to make the next play, and my teammates believe in me that I'm going to make the next play.
All right. Let you ride out on that one, Vic. I got my own thoughts, but I want to get these questions in. Uh, Lauren said We call that the Mississippi Red Shirt D, the playing down. All right, I get it. I ain't understanding when I went there. The Mississippi.
Hey, they do
Funny.
that. They do. Hey, Lawrence, they do that in Georgia too, homeboy.
Okay. um, should a kid play middle school ball or just travel or both?
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on middle school baseball. If okay, I'll put it like this: middle school baseball is good if the coach knows what he's doing. If he's just a math teacher who played baseball back in something and he just throwing the balls out there and your kid is out, they just out there again. We answered this question earlier about high school. If they just rolling the balls out there and it's just fun and giggles and stuff like that, and they just throwing balls all kinds of ways, and pitchers are throwing 155 pitches a game and all that other stuff, do not play middle school baseball. If you got a guy who is teaching the game and they, and it's structured, yes, do it. You can get those reps. But if it's not structured and they just out there having fun, hey, we just glad to be here, and some of the guys don't even know how to catch, don't waste your time.
All right. And there you go. Mark says, high school programs sometimes have coaches that aren't developing players or only focus on their favorites. What should a player do?
Don't play. Don't play. Find yourself a program where your kid is going to get developed. Okay, so all right. So I already said earlier that I left a situation and moved to another state. So if you know a program across town, listen, guys, I'm not asking everybody to be like me and quit a job and go find something else. That was my thing. That's how I am about it. Like, I'm all in when it comes to that kind of stuff, right? So like, we gonna go down with the ship. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna either sink, like I said,
We
we
gonna
either
roll
gonna
the dice.
sink,
So we going.
we either
I
gonna
love
sink
it.
or we gonna turn this mug into a speedboat, D. Right? So so I'm gonna so when I say don't play, that's really a simple answer. But the real answer is, if it's not happening at that school, don't be afraid to uproot. And I know it's not easy to do that, but either you're gonna not play for that school and then find a good program that's gonna develop them, or you're gonna move and take him somewhere where he's gonna get what you're talking
Or
about.
you gonna stay? Because I hear all the time from parents, and again, I have one area that I have spent a lot of time, and again, know what your priorities are. All right, and I say this because from personal friends of mine and parents and kids that I train, their focus was on school district. Their kid was not playing. The programs are good, but the kids ain't playing, but they complain. I'm like, you can go right up the street and play every day over here, but I love the school. I said, you either gonna have to do one or the other. You either, you know what I'm saying? You either gonna go the private school route and have to come out of pocket, or you're gonna have to go to a lesser school where your kid can play, but you're gonna have to make that choice. If you choose to stay at that particular school for academic reasons, which is your choice to do, then that means you're going the academic route. But don't complain when the kid don't get the playing time and he ain't, you know what I'm saying? He ain't, fitting in and not getting the exposure that he wants. You're prioritizing, and again, you're in school. You're there to get the education. We get it. All right. But you're prioritizing academics. So if that's the choice and you want your kid to get a baseball scholarship, you can't have everything at that particular school. It ain't working out for you. So you either gonna have to again go to another school where you get the playing time, or bite that bullet and have your kid and just don't complain. Just understand that's what it is. All right. So that's we're talking about bad programs. We're talking about in the Memphis area, there's some really good programs and really good kids weren't get the playing time, and the parents would complain about it. But it's like, yo, you want the school district. I get it for academic reasons, and that's your priority. Then you got to go roll with the academic side. Then you know what I'm saying? Don't complain. Let me see. Did you just say at 12 is when you should lock down your position? Vic?
Yeah, I said that is the goal for this year, is for our kids to hammer down what their primary and secondary positions are at 12U.
All right. Bubba says, I just asked TJ what he is. His answer is he's a shortstop. He's in high school.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
We
He knows who he is.
right. Had to move my son and it has paid off now. On to college. Congratulations, Mark. Out in Texas. All in, my man. I am with Coach Vic. I feel all of that. All right, cool. When you moved, did you move for baseball or football?
We moved for baseball. Um, as a matter of fact, I didn't even like it was a secondary thing, and here's why. I didn't even really care what kind of baseball program the school had because I knew that he would be able to get what he needed in the summer. So I knew that football, they just came off back-to-back state championships. The coaches must know what they're doing, right? They just had like Lorenzo Carter was here. Like he was the number one DN in the country. ESPN was at the school.
Mm,
They had 6D seniors, not 16. They had 6-0 seniors. So that's a
mm.
football program, right? And like
Right.
30 of them went on to play college football. And the kids were going to Georgia and LSU and um, Boston College and all Vanderbilt, Miami. Like kids were going to play at like okay, I'm just say this: they're going to play at Power Five schools. No disrespect to these other schools, but the school that I was at, kids were going to local colleges, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, that is not going to happen to my son. I'm
Mm,
not going to sit down and watch it happen to my son. So
mm.
we getting out of here, and so we moved here for football. Yes,
You moved for football or baseball? Did you move for football or baseball? You said football.
football. We moved here. We moved here so he can be in a good football program, a better football situation because we were in a good football program now.
Right.
Like I said, I was coaching on that program. We were in coach there. Coaches, I love them. Dan Pippen,
Mm-hmm.
if you watching, shout out to you. But we had a good football program. But our kids, we had D1 kids in that program that weren't going to D1 schools. So I had to go.
All right. Brandon says, great content tonight, fellas. Blessings. Vic, Maggie, dying for me to tell you she loves you. D, keep bringing the ambassadors who tell the truth. No doubt about it. All right.
All right, Maggie, you know Uncle Vic loves you too, right? So listen, if you wanted to hear me say that, everybody, Maggie, my niece, Uncle Vic loves you.
All right. Let me see. I thought high school coaches pick for middle school ball, but thanks for the tip about don't play. All right. All right.
Some middle school
Look,
programs, some let me hold on, D. Some middle schools
okay.
try to tell you that you have to play for our middle school team if you want to play for the high school. But guess what?
Yep.
If you a stud, the high school coach ain't gonna look at you and say, "Well, did you play for our middle
Say
school team?"
say it again. Say it again, please.
If you can play, nobody's gonna tell you, "Hey, you didn't play for our middle school, so you can't play here." Nobody's gonna do that, and don't let them lie to you that way.
Oh boy, I love it. Lawrence, I appreciate, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate you listening in, man. All right. Malone says, what's the balance between utilizing the pitching machine and live BP? Oh gosh.
D, you can answer that question. You know, ain't
Listen,
nobody doing live BP no more.
hey,
Everything is on the machine.
listen, I can't stand the machine. I hate it, and I know everybody use it. Help the pitchers. From a coaching standpoint, it saved my arm. I'm cool, but from a hitting standpoint, I hated it as a hitter. I hated it. I know with the Pirates in spring training, we on that machine every day, on every day. You know what I'm saying? Curveball and high velocity machine. So it's it and some of the guys are like me didn't like it, but most of the guys love the machine. So I guess it's just it's universal now. Everybody uses the machines. I was a late kick guy, and timing was always an issue with me. That's probably why I should have needed the machine more, but I never liked it. What about you, Vic?
Um, personally, I rather have live BP thrown to me.
Right.
Um, but I was one of those kids too at spring training. When they locked the field up at night, I was hopping the fence to go over there and hit off the Iron Mike. But the Iron Mike is different. The Iron Mike, it has a
Mm-hmm.
timing mechanism for you to see. So,
Mm-hmm.
but they aren't using Iron Mics anymore. Everybody's hitting off of that hack attack.
Mm-hmm.
So the timing is a little different, but that's where everybody's. I didn't know this. I was talking to another pro kid a couple of days ago, and he was like, "Coach, we don't hit live. Everything is
No,
off of the pitching machine.
everything,
Like every time we
everything,
hit."
everything, and high velo too. I was like, I'm like, damn, how these dudes hitting? It's coming. I'm like, and then the coaches get mad. These guys ain't timing it up. I was like, listen. But yeah, machines is the thing right now, Malone. So I hope as a parent, how do you know how hard to push your child? Thin line as a parent could lead to a lot of tension in the house.
Okay, so I'll speak on that again. One of the main reasons why I wanted to move to Atlanta because I wanted someone to coach my son as hard as I would coach him, so that I didn't have to be coach dad all the time. Um, and it was hard on my son because my wife would get after him more than I would. So, sometimes he was getting it in both ears, and so he would lose his mind from time to time. And finally, I was just like, you know what? If she gonna get him, then I ain't getting him tonight, right?
Mm, mm,
So, but listen, they got to take it. If you're gonna play sports at a high level,
mm,
you have to be mentally tough. And I'm
mm,
not saying go and beat your kid up.
mm,
Do not mentally beat them up.
mm,
However, they have to be mentally tough. If they can't handle some criticism, if they can't handle you saying, "So why didn't you catch that ball?" or "Why didn't you go hard?" or if
mm,
they can't handle that kind of stuff,
mm.
they ain't gonna handle it at the next level because
Ain't lying.
the adversity is gonna show up at some point,
Especially in the
and they
game of
need
baseball.
to have, you know what I'm saying? They need to have experienced it at some point.
Mm.
Like I said, Barron, he got towed up from time to time at the house, and he had it in two sports, football and baseball. So if he didn't get after it, and then he had both his parents getting after him too.
Right. Right.
I mean, sometimes my wife and I used to argue with each other over what he did in the game. I'm like, damn, I didn't do it, but that's the competitiveness. That's the
Right.
competitive nature
But
in
but a
us.
lot of a lot of people need to know that your wife played D1 basketball at Ohio State, so she a D1 athlete. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't it ain't like you talking to some old mom who don't ain't a high level athlete herself.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So yeah, he was getting it. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
let's go here. We got Vic. If your son's travel team is not regionally or nationally ranked and will not get the coaches or scouts eyeballs, do you recommend the showcase route? See you soon.
Hey, Will. Um, I recommend that you take Walker and y'all sit down and you iron out what schools he's interested in. You can get some wish schools in there too. Like write down about five. Man, if my dreams could come true, I would go to the schools, right? So you get those five, and then the majority of them though need to be like, this is where I think I'm at. These are the schools that have the kind of um, majors that I might be interested in. And so when you do your research on that kind of stuff, that's when you reach out to these schools and you figure out when they're going to have um, showcase or a prospect camp so you can get to their prospect camp. I'm selling prospect camps at individual schools. Showcases, it's good for you to go showcase if you're throwing 94. It's good to go showcase if you're going to hit balls into the trees, and it's good to go to showcase if you are going to run a 6'4", 6'5" and under, 6'6", 6'7", and under. If you don't have those things, then don't waste your money going to a showcase.
Mm.
Am I right, D?
Oh, I'm listen. I'm gonna be honest with you. Even if you can do the 6'7s and all that type of stuff, take your butt to the showcase and the close. I just from doing it personally and seeing uh I don't know. I've done the world with bats, and it is fun. It's an experience, no doubt. If you go for the experience alone, I get it. Do people get signed? Yes or no? But I mean, yes, they do. But in this world we are in right now, The coaches have all 80 plus coaches I've had on here. They all say we love camps. They go down the numbers on each kid on their roster right now. Right now, I got 5 kids. I got 8 kids. I got 12 kids that came to our camp. The current roster we have. So they telling you right there the process, how it goes. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. He's telling you right. Pick the schools that you are interested in. Find out when they're having it, and take yourself right over to that showcase and ball out. I understand multiple eyes, multiple. I've had this post up for a few days, and everybody has their different views and everything like that. To me, it's a reason why I posted it and all of that, because it's coming soon. All right, it's the reason why I posted it. Let me go here. All right, parents, we are going. We going on 2 damn hours. I want to get my boy Vic to the house. I know my boy hungry. So we got a few more questions. All right, and then we're gonna get up out of here. We're gonna be breaking on 2 hours. This is. I hope this is. I know for a fact this information is big right here for you parents. You need to share it and tag people. And I know some people are doing it, but this should need to be shared multiple times to multiple groups in this baseball world. Do you think it's important for Black programs to come together? Black kids can see more and not deal with the daddy boy and pay for play. Too many of our talented kids are getting left behind and left out.
So let me answer this question, because I was thinking about this the other day. When you see a lot of Black college teams, the Black kids on the team are still the minority, right? Even at Black colleges, and a lot of the coaches are not Black, and so I'm just answering this question right here. How do we get our kids into the game? Here's what happens, Russ. Our kids who are that have D1 talent, they don't end up going to college. They end up getting lowballed and taking $100,000, $200,000 and going into pro ball right away. So they don't even end up in pro ball. I mean, in college baseball. So my kid, D, how many kids were like that, Baron Radcliff in D1 baseball?
Right.
I can't think of none.
Right.
I can think of not one other kid that looked like Baron playing baseball at the college level, at the D1, at the Power 5 level, because they end up getting drafted and taking the money. That's just facts. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Hey, you are speaking such facts, and I ain't really think like that. But you got me. I'm literally on the phone yesterday. One of my kids, I ain't gonna say my kids, but drafted 20-something round. You and I both know how this thing go, and had a scholarship to Texas Tech, Power 5, and then I get it. Me personally, I would have had him go the junior college route, but he did the 20-something round, took the bread, and he hanging in there, but he on thin ice. You know what I mean? 22 now. You know how it is, Vic. 22 now, and he. And I don't mean to call him, that's my man, but he calling me like, should I start looking for an independent team? They saying they're going to be making changes and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And parents, if I tell you this advice right now, it's the type of money that they got invested in you. Top 5 rounds, you good. You know what I mean? You got a longer leash. That's all I'm going to say. All right? Vic been around the game. I've been around the game. I seen first rounders get released. I seen second, third, fourth, five. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gets released eventually. But I'm just saying you have a longer leash. You know what I'm saying? The higher the more money they invest in you. It is a privilege. It is great to get drafted in the 20, 15, 20 round. And yes, you can walk around your town and say you've been drafted. But once you step foot on that field, your time is very limited to show what you got. You are in the 20th rounder, a 15th or 10th rounder. Well, I say a 15th rounder and lower. You are essentially a fill-in for the guys that are high round guys. you are a fill-in. You know what I'm saying? Basically, there's 2 to 3 guys on each team that they really care about in the minor league system. All right, just keeping them 100 with you. Now, there's plenty of guys that make the major leagues out of 20th round. They put up the numbers each and every year and battle through, and a lot of things need to happen. So I'm not saying it's not a chance, but on an average, the lower you are, the less money, whatever, you essentially are a team filler, just like we doing in the travel boy. You got a couple of guys that pay the checks and filling a roster, the 11th, 12th man. That's basically what that is on that. And I'm just keeping 100 with you. But I love what you said, Vic. You said a lot. These kids are D1 caliber kids, but they take the money and they go pro. Man, let me get out here. A couple more, man. Get you out of here. Whew. Mark says. Mark says thoughts on Ohio State baseball program.
Man, when Ohio State came here, who asked me this question?
Mark.
Oh, okay. So when Ohio State came down to Georgia Tech last spring, I heard about that pitching staff they had. Everybody was talking about they were going to do how good the pitching staff was. And I give it to them. Their pitching staff was good, right? But Georgia Tech was better that weekend. Baron Radcliff had his way with Ohio State pitchers that weekend. So I can go ahead and brag on my son now because Ohio State threw out their show
that was one of the first weekends, wasn't it?
Huh?
That was one of the first games he played, right?
Yeah, I mean it was early in the season. It was early. It was early in the year, and he hit 2 bombs in that series.
I remember.
One almost hit the dorms behind us, like across the street from the Georgia Tech Stadium. That's how far that mug went. But Ohio State rolled out. I'm not going to talk too long. I like their baseball program. I think their coach is doing something good up there. It's Midwest, but they got a lot of arms over there, and I think they're competitive. But for that weekend, we definitely were the better team.
All right. We're going to get this in, man. We're going to shut it down after this, man. Malone says, Dick and Vic, please share your contact. Vic, do you have an email? Do you have a way that a Twitter or anything like that they can reach you?
So I am Coach Vic 22 on Instagram. Same thing on Twitter. They can reach me at radcliffsportstraining.com. No, radcliffsportstraining@gmail.com for my email. Again, my email address is Radcliff, RADCLIFF, sportstraining@gmail.com. You can reach me that way, and then we can link up like that. But I do have Instagram and Twitter. Both of those accounts, my handle is Coach Vic.
All right. I just put your Twitter and your Instagram.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Mine is in the comment section. I'll leave it on here. And if you watch, well, I don't know. You may come from a different page, but D Brown Baseball, you see the whatever fan page or Facebook group, you can like that. I'm D Brown Baseball on Instagram. Twitter is _D, but I don't be on Twitter like I should. I'll be honest with you. So, I'm gonna just put that in here like that and keep it moving. It's your time right now, Victor. So, all right. Listen, Lawrence. Let's hit that. Lawrence, I'm gonna try to get Southern's coach on here again, and whatever. We're gonna hit the HBCU programs. I want to kind of close this out, man. We're going right at 2 hours, man. I want to get my boy Vic out of here, and we go. Yeah, that's right. 4 p.m. That's right. And I, get this plug in. 4 p.m. Eastern every day. I am on with a coach. Tomorrow I got University. Speaking of Ohio, we going Dayton. All right, Dayton University. Head coach coming on tomorrow. I have the master class recruiting. We talk about this type of stuff, man. This is what I'm talking about right here, man. This is why we bring this knowledge. This is why I speak to men like Vic, who's been there and done that. You know what I'm saying? So I try to share that information, man. You know what I'm saying? So again, the 6-week masterclass, sign up for this program, August 31st, man. Just going hard. And then if you want all of the 6-week compressed so you can watch it all at one time, let me know. All right. Say the Twitter again because a different coach came up. That's not it, Vic, right there?
Yeah. Coach Vic 22. Hold on a second, D. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
So anyway, I don't know. Mark, he said that's the one. So, listen, Russ, you welcome. D Vic is dropping nuggets, man. Keep them on. Another hour. I'm learning a lot. My boys are at the beginning stages of coach pitch. Nice job, guys. No doubt about it, man. Greeny, shout out to my boy Greeny, man. Uh, need to get you back on here, man. You know what I'm saying? Um, let's let's definitely get you back on here, Greeny, man, and no doubt, man. I appreciate my boy Vic coming on here and showing love and helping you guys out. So, Vic, man, if you got any last message, man, close us out, man. Before you've been dropping nuggets all day, man, all night, I should say. But, man, if you could, let's finish this thing on out, man. Take us out.
All right. So what I'm doing right now is I'm putting my Twitter in the comments. I'm also, I just sent it. Now I'm getting ready to send my Instagram. Appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do this, D. I know people can't see my face right now, but I am putting reach out to me. I like to put videos out that really talk about what you really need to hear. It ain't always what you want to hear, but I think the information is good. Do you see what I put up, D? It says it's in a private
Yeah,
chat.
I'm gonna put it up in a minute. Give me a minute.
Okay. So, I always talk about how you need to find a guy, someone who is going to be real with you about this whole thing, not trying to sugarcoat anything. I don't want people to get taken advantage of. There's a lot of folks out here who call themselves experts at this, but at the end of the day, they're trying to pull some money out of your pocket, probably. I am very thankful that people can pay me to do what I love to do, and it's a blessing for me. I'm a teacher full time. I'm a teacher on the baseball field and off the baseball field. So I appreciate these kind of platforms, D. Any of these parents who want to reach out to me, players, it don't matter, players or parents. I'm gonna keep it real with you when it comes to this baseball thing, because I believe that there is a way to do this stuff. I think that when I say there's a way to do it, let's just call it a blueprint. And I can say blueprint, and I'm going to say that as humbly as possible, because the way that we have raised our son was, I want to say we like groomed him for this. Now, the fact that he went to Georgia Tech will tell you that we didn't skip over the academics part, because that is very, very much who he is also. He is a Georgia Tech type of guy, right? But he is also a hip hop kid. He is also a kid who collects shoes. Like, he is a real kid, very respectful, but he is not some robot.
Yes.
We didn't keep him from eating sugar. The man loves cookies. You know what I'm saying? He does his thing. He's a real kid. Like, we let him play outside. We let him get bruises. We let him fall. We let him make mistakes. We don't think that he is great as sliced bread. We know he's not perfect, right? So, and this is how we raise our kids. There's a lot of parents out there, D, who nobody can tell their kid anything. And so I'm the kind of coach, though. So when they run into Coach Vic, it's like, wait a minute, this guy right here. But they see that I do it in love. So, and I think that's the key. That's what sets my thing apart from some other cats. Because, yeah, I say that I'm going to help in this development part, but I'm going to get after his ass at the same time. But I coach your kid from like Coach Dad perspective. I'm Coach Dad. I'm going to coach your boy like I do my own. And I coach him hard, but yeah, I coach everybody else's kid hard. And everybody else's kid get to sit down when they ain't doing what I want them to do. Or everybody else's kid they going to get my voice from time to time. And that's just the way it has to be. Like, I believe in, like I said, I came from a good football program. That coach used to put into practice when he was going to yell at people. That was a scheduled thing. He was going to put on a show. It was in the schedule when he was going to put on a show and get after somebody. And it's necessary. So, listen, I'm all about it, man. I'm all about the whole package. I'm all about building kids up, not just for baseball, but for the life that they're getting ready to go out into. because there's
Mm,
everybody ain't always your friend, man. So I
mm,
just I want to help people realize this is what's real, and this is what I'm getting prepared for. We're gonna do it through baseball because baseball will kick your butt, man.
mm,
So
mm.
I think this is great, D. I love what you're doing, man. I'm proud of your situation. You come a
Mm.
long way from a guy who showed up not knowing how to even separate his whites from his darks. Um, but
Why
listen,
you gotta
man,
bring that up? Why you gotta talk about?
I had to say it. I had to say it. But look at
Yeah,
you now.
for my
You know what I'm
listeners
saying?
out there, yeah, my boy Vic had to teach me how to wash clothes. As an 18-year-old kid, I came. This man right here was my first ever roommate in professional baseball, and he said, "You don't know how to wash clothes, man." The man literally took my clothes, separated, put it in there with the powder, and put it in. This is how in New York, we go to laundromats, and Mondukes had to do the laundromat. You know what I'm saying? Real quick. That's how far back we go. You know what I'm saying? The man done taught me how to
Like
wash.
rocket chairs. Yes. Yes.
All right, man. Listen, I love you, my guy, man. This is what it's about, man. Getting that knowledge, somebody that's been there, done that at every level. Drafted fourth round. All right, two-sport guy. All right, been through, ups and downs. Boom, had the family. All right, took a chance, stepped out on faith, moved outside of a comfort zone for the sake of his child. All right, boom, 4 years later, you know what I'm saying? The boy getting the full scholarship to Georgia Tech. 3 years after that, drafted fifth round, reliving the dream. You know what I mean? I guess you could talk junk to Barron because you could be like, I don't got drafted
I got
higher
that
than you.
higher than you.
Right. But that boy over there gonna make the league and do you better.
That's
You know what
right.
I'm saying?
That's right.
And
That's right.
so listen, that's what it's
Retire
about,
young.
man. So as you can tell, world of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love this dude. That's why we've been friends for so many years, man. And that knowledge gets shared to you guys. So I hope you guys learned something tonight. I want you guys to tag this. I want you guys to share this message. All right. We know it's long and all of that, but again, this type of knowledge needs to be shared. All right, especially for parents that think they know everything when it comes to this youth sports. They got to do this. They got to go. They feel like they have to get seen here. He's debunking, dispelling, doing every dismantling this whole sports industry, youth baseball sports industry. All right, and he's giving you tips what you need to do, where you need to go. All right. So when you come to Atlanta, look out for Vic. All right. When you come to Atlanta, he's starting the program. If you want kids travel ball industry, if you want, you know what I'm saying, to start playing on high level travel teams and all that, what's the travel team again, Vic?
We're the Outlaws, babe.
All right, the
Radcliff
big
Sports
ball. All
Training.
right, I'm the first I'm seeing this. I'm feeling it. All right, so and we go ahead and get some top notch coaching from there. So you're gonna pass through Atlanta. Everybody does. You know what I'm saying? This youth baseball space. Look out for my man. All right. Listen, tomorrow 4 p.m. We're gonna keep this knowledge going. University of Dayton head coach coming on. Jason King, I believe his name, off the top of my head right now. He's coming on 6-week masterclass. You see the link right there. Just talking about the recruiting stuff in depth. All right, all these interviews, all wrapped up in the course over here. All right, so I'm out. Vic, appreciate you. Go ahead. I know wifey probably like, Negro, where you at? You know what I'm saying? So I'll be up there sometime this week, and I need to get in the cages over there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't sniffing ball and batting ball and forever.
Yeah, man. You need to come throw some BP. I'm
I
gonna be out here
do.
all day on Sunday. You need to come holler at me.
All right, I'll be up there. All right, man. So listen, tomorrow 4 p.m. Parents, love you guys. Thank you guys for joining in. All right, you guys get some rest, man. Vic, see
All
you,
right, man.
buddy. Thank you, man.
Peace.